Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, Representative Grosso had asked before how the bill would affect public safety and affect law enforcement. And as pointed out by Representative Long, we can look at the packet of the many chiefs and sheriffs and others and look to those who we would typically look to for that, answering that question. Representative Drazkowski had asked, he said, I don't see how this bill could make anyone safer. In questioning some members from Scott County, the Scott County Sheriff is endorsing this bill. The Shakopee Police Chief is endorsing the bill. These law enforcement leaders from those very communities are doing that. We can ask how the bill would affect the economy, and again, look to those we typically would look to. The Minnesota Chamber of Commerce, at least many folks in this chamber would, says this is good for the economy. It's good for the agricultural economy. We're hearing that from the Agri-Growth Council and many others, Hospitality Minnesota. But maybe most importantly, how will this affect our moral character as a state? And there too we can look to our faith leaders. As a Catholic, to have the 7 Catholic bishops, to have our Jewish leaders, our Muslim leaders, our Protestant leaders, the Joint Religious Legislative Coalition, and to look to that. Members, each person in this chamber is here in the past because of one of 3 possibilities. Somebody in your family came here by choice, they came here by force, or they're already here and their land was taken. And we're doing what we can to address those latter two groups of those whose land is taken and those who are here by force. For all the rest of us, those in our families made the choice to come here. And the choice to do so because they were leaving someplace that was a problem for their family, a concern, a threat, and moving to a place of opportunity. And the only question is, where in that journey is our family? We may be like Representative Mann, that we are immigrants ourselves. We may be the next generation of immigrants. When Representative Vang was speaking, there's a lot of emotion in her voice, and I felt a lot of emotion watching her and thinking about her family and the connection with my family and each of your families. My maternal grandfather growing up speaking Polish as he grew up only, and my paternal great-grandfather, who we have a recording from the early 70s, him talking about what it was like in the old country. At that point, Italy was I don't want to use the term that was used in the Oval Office, but it was that kind of a country. It is now a rich, prosperous place, but at that point it was like that. And he said in the recording, I had to get out of there, whatever I had to do, to come to the United States and to live in poverty and to build up and do what he needed to do. And to reach out to people all throughout Buffalo, New York, where he lived. So that by the time he died in the early 80s, people from all walks of life and all different backgrounds, who themselves had grown up speaking so many different languages, came out for his funeral. Members, that's every one of us, except for those who fall into those latter 2 categories. For them, I'm grateful to your indulgence to the rest of us. But for each one of us, please think back to your own family's story. Think about where you are at, whether you're first generation, second, third, fourth, fifth. Are you so certain that your family members were in fact fully documented? I think research has often shown that that's not the case. The big difference now is not the people coming, it's the people who are here. It's the infrastructure that we have. It's the walls that we put up and the fences, both physical and also in terms of documentation and everything else. Our economic leaders, our faith leaders, our law enforcement leaders have said, forget about any of the rest of those reasons. It is just pure public safety, economy, all those other reasons. And those may be the reasons to vote in favor. I think those are all terrific reasons. And there's also the call to say, there but for the grace of God, go our families. And the families who right now are trying to build a better future for their families. Members, join them, stand in solidarity with them and with the rest of us, and vote green on this bill.
The member